Hey, what's up everybody? In this video, we're going to talk about why VeVe will not see mass adoption unless they do a couple things. And this is going to be focused around KYC or Know Your Customer, but also look at it from a broader perspective of CIAM, Customer Identity Access Management. And to give you some background is I happen to have some expertise in this area. I'm in the process of building a KYC implementation for an application we're working on. We just finished beta. We're going to roll it out into prod, hopefully in the next year or two. And on this platform, it's going to be much bigger than VeVe's user base. So talking from some experience here. So let's talk a little bit about KYC and how VeVe came into it. So if we look at the VeVe Help Center, it, most of us have been through this, and on July 30th, they implemented KYC, which is basically that you'd have to go through their process through their third-party provider, and I don't remember who it was, where you had to pass it in order to get full access to drops and the marketplace, basically to do buy and selling. So how KYC came about is know your client, know your customer came out, pretty much as a result of the U.S. Patriot Act of 2001. Basically to deal with anti-money laundering, terrorism and whatnot. So why KYC VeVe is sucked into this KYC realm is basically this: crypto. So to do these transactions, converting from crypto to fiat and moving money back and forth, which is money transfer, basically KYC is required by FinCEN. And FinCEN is the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. Again, it's basically anti-money laundering. Why this becomes important, and we'll just stick with KYC for now. It's because KYC is basically a problem for mass adoption. Think of it this way. Look at how much the user base dropped off once KYC was implemented. To do this, let's look at the VeVe Extractor by VeVe Fox. She's amazing. Please follow her on YouTube and Twitter. So if you look right here at the high, the active wallets on July 30th was 26,000, and it's dropped down to 4.5 thousand. So there was a dramatic drop off. Due to KYC, and KYC is not a VeVe problem. It's a barrier to entry for many applications. So how can this be solved? So one of the big debates in the KYC industry, and this is reached the forefront, especially in the US, once more government agencies and services adopted a KYC platform. So one of the big controversies was that the U.S. government is putting the KYC function in the hands of private industry. So one of the debates was that KYC become a government function. Right now, the majority of the KYC players are in the private side. So for example, like to access the Internal Revenue Service or Social Security, they have a KYC function. Again, that function is provided by by a third-party provider as one of the identity options. So one of the good things is, and how VeVe or other companies can survive this, it's choosing a KYC provider that is interoperable, and very much the same as what we're talking about interoperability within NFTs and the crypto space. So these providers are larger providers, and basically, let's say you go to a website X and you register KYC there. As long as that third-party provider provides that services for other applications, you're already automatically registered for application Y, Z, and so on. So finding a mainstream KYC provider who has a larger customer base would make the adoption a lot easier. So the simple way around it is VeVe chose down this path to make KYC mandatory for all marketplace operations. If you notice the other platforms, whether it be Funko, DC, and so on, KYC is not necessary to provide that function, to use the market and participate in drops and whatnot. It's only when you have to transfer the money out, and a lot of that will happen within the crypto provider, whether it be on Wax or Polygon or wherever. So one of the things that in a video from a Superstar Money video many months ago, Rob said, oh, why doesn't VeVe could separate the crypto / NFT portion from the digital asset, so the transactions would just be credit card based, and take out the gems, everything, and we'll solve some of this problem. I mean, that's one way VeVe could get around this. They could take the Funko DC approach, where you do not restrict the purchases, or you're restricting the transaction of the asset. One of the other things where this also becomes a problem, it's for companies in this industry, is something that has not been talked about, which is customer identity access management. And a couple people have brought out in Twitter is like, oh, when is, I have so much money on the VeVe platform. When is VeVe going to really implement, MFA, multi-factor authentication, by using something like the Google Authenticator app or the Microsoft Authenticator app? Something more mainstream rather than this email with this 6-digit code. And that comes in with customer identity access management. And what this is it's a platform, pretty much it's a subset of IAM, Identity Access Management, and CIAM, since it's customer facing, is from the outside in. So this provides the MFA solution, but one of the key things between CIAM, or one of the key features that CIAM enforces, is fraud protection. So I'll give you one example, a real world example of why KYC is not sufficient. So I can't, due to security reasons, and this is actually something that I worked on. I can't tell you the full details, but I'll give you the gist of how this KYC scheme worked. So we've heard about it on the VeVe space, where people are buying KYC accounts. Well, what some bad actors have done is they go out and pay people to KYC. And so they actually get real people with real IDs, and as long as they can provide the KYC documents. So they create accounts with these people's information. So you say, well, how does this help the bad actor? Well, the problem with the KYC implementation, especially in financial transactions, is the financial transaction is taking place by ACH. So, and all they need for that is the bank account and routing number. So what these bad actors do is they go online and they create, with these online banks, bank accounts. And these bank accounts are in their names, or in a lot of cases what they do is they use mules here to provide another layer. So they create bank accounts in the mule's name. And so it's an actual person with actual ID that they can create these accounts. So there are multiple layers of fraud here. So what the bad actor does again is, so they pay somebody to KYC their account. They then, sometimes it's the same person, but again, to make layers so it's harder to track, they get mules to create online bank accounts so they can get the ACH and the routing number. These mules then, once they get the money, they take a cut and then they send the balance to the bad actor to another account. KYC would never catch this. However, much of the AI anti-fraud practices in the CIAM will pick up on this. They look for that type of activity, or any anti-fraud type of application that can be brought in the back end, especially when you're looking at the transference of money. So KYC alone doesn't really solve the quote unquote anti-money laundering problem for some of these applications. It's building a more robust cybersecurity framework around your infrastructure. And we won't go into details here, but you needed to have some background for it so you understand why this prevents mass adoption for VeVe. So for example, now if in this case where just to buy it, you need to KYC, as you saw from the drop off, basically, only 25% of the users, and those were users that are used to using crypto. So VeVe has the barrier of the bad look about crypto, bad look about NFTs, but it's also very difficult to onboard. So one of my suggestions to VeVe is get rid of the KYC to participate in the drops. I mean, why do you care, right? So if people buy it and it just sits in an account and it can't go anywhere, what's the big deal? It's revenue that you've gotten. And we'll talk about the mint size and the effect on profitability in another video. But now the big question is the VeVeVerse. If KYC has any influence or restriction on or requirement about participating in the VeVeVerse is dead. You can't have it. So then it's going to be a very difficult balance for VeVe here to, okay, so how do I identify the people that are participating in the VeVeVerse? Again, there are going to be multiple levels of users. There'll be the users that are coming over from the app, so they've already been KYC'd. But once I get into the VeVeVerse, what do I do other than walk around? So they could make it like a spatial where you can just be free and you can just walk around and you can see people's stuff, but it's not exactly very interesting, right? So if you need to transact and if you need to play games or buy digital assets, not necessarily NFTs, any type of digital assets or a pay-to-play type thing, will KYC be required? So VeVe's going to need to institute something called RBAC, role-based access control. So it's based on the role that the user comes in as into the VeVeVerse as to what they can do. So they're going to need multiple providers here in order to just handle the payment rail. That's why, again, my favorite metaverse book, The Metaverse by Matthew Ball, talks about how payment rails are a key feature to the metaverse. So they're going to need, as I've said, even regarding this wire issue, that they're going to need multiple providers. They're going to need the ones for crypto, and they're also going to need the quote unquote PayPal's, where it's easier to get authenticated. More people have it, and they can provide. That can serve as a payment rail for one type of role where they can access certain things within the VeVeVerse. Of course, I'm going to make another video about gems and talk about the payment rails as opposed to and the NFTs. But getting back to the VeVeVerse, so you'll have the free user, you'll have the crypto user, and in the middle you have to have something else. And that's why I'm introducing the concept of CIAM, the Customer Identity Access Management, because some type of platform or infrastructure has to be built there to handle these various types of users and roles and authentication. So this problem is very complex, but I'm going to close it out and explain, just basically why is it complex, and it's one word, and it's crypto. So, crypto makes it very difficult because of FinCEN and how you need to secure your platform that's handling the crypto transaction. So it's going to be a barrier. I really like the VeVe IP. I'm really grateful to VeVe for introducing me to NFTs, but I really don't believe they're going to ever see mass adoption unless they solve this problem and make it more granular. So KYC does not become a barrier, because if you need KYC to do anything, any platform, VeVe or whatnot, will not see mass adoption unless governments start taking over this function and governments start integrating it with e-commerce as a standard feature. But that is going to be, I wouldn't count my chickens on that ever happening, unless it's, again, it would have to be something that everybody has. Well, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Please comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Again, I like interacting with you guys here and on Twitter. Hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching, and aloha.